A very good evening. Welcome to Championship Live on LFS with me, Caoimhan Ferris, for a brand new season. 76 days ago, the 24-25 Championship season officially concluded as Sunderland were confirmed playoff winners, overcoming Sheffield United, of course, in that playoff final. 19-year-old Tom Watson wrote his name into history, scoring a 95th minute winner as the Black Cats returned to the top flight. Regis Labrisa's side were joined by Leeds and Burnley in heading up to the Premier League. Taking their places were Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton, who were all dismally relegated from the Premier League last campaign. Speaking of newcomers, 3 new teams joined the league and were promoted from League One. Birmingham City, Wrexham and Charlton Athletic all secured promotion to the second division of English football, with Luton, Plymouth and Cardiff all going the opposite direction. Tonight, Friday the 8th of August 2025, is a clean slate. The 25-26 season begins as newly promoted Birmingham City host relegated Ipswich Town at St Andrew's Stadium under the Friday night lights. Your one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome to LFS for a brand new season here on the channel. It's great to have you all with us once again as we get going for a brand new campaign. Thank you all for joining us tonight for this one, and we kick off the new Premier League the new Championship season. Premier League is next week. The new Championship season as Birmingham take on Ipswich here at St Andrew's Stadium in one of the biggest cities in the English country. And we are looking forward to seeing what happens tonight. And look at what the weekend has in store for us on match day 1. Charlton, the newly promoted side, host Watford tomorrow lunchtime alongside Coventry versus Hull in a very enticing battle there. Southampton, who were relegated from the Premier League last season, they take on newly promoted side Wrexham, who are making a lot of trail marks with that, of course, that very famous documentary. And their very famous owners. Could they make it one step further this season and go to the Premier League for next campaign? That's all tomorrow lunchtime. Middlesbrough take on Swansea, Norwich host Millwall, Portsmouth head to Oxford, QPR face Preston, Stoke host Derby, West Brom take on Blackburn, and then tomorrow evening Sheffield United host Bristol City, two sides who met in the playoff semi-finals last year. Sheffield United absolutely destroyed Bristol City. Is it time for them to get revenge? That's tomorrow at 5:30, and then on Sunday we have action from, of course, newly relegated side Leicester City as they start a rebuild and try and head back to the Premier League as they host Sheffield Wednesday. That is at the King Power Stadium on Sunday. Right, it is a great start to the season. Two sides who weren't in this division last season, and they don't want to be here next season from what their expectations are set as, but they all have to start somewhere. And tonight it's at St Andrews. It's Birmingham against Ipswich. Kick-off and teams is next. Welcome back. Here are the teams for tonight's game, starting with the home side, newly promoted Birmingham under Chris Davies. 4 new signings start in their starting 11 tonight. In goal this evening, Ryan Alsop. They've gone for a back 4 of Asari Samuel, who comes into the side. He starts at right back. The captain tonight, Christoph Klarer, is alongside Phil Newman in defence, and Alex Cochrane starts at left back for Birmingham. In midfield is Shungo Pike alongside Tomoki Iwata, who scored that incredible goal last season. He's in midfield alongside returning to his boyhood club, Damari Gray. He starts in the attack alongside Keshi Anderson and, of course, Jay Stansfield. And leading the line, new man up front, the former Celtic forward, Kyogo Furuhashi. The Japanese starts in the front line. On the bench, Beadle, Laird, Cashin, Bellick, Doyle, Williamson, Leonard, Gardner-Hickman and Dykes. For Ipswich Town, it is, well, a very familiar setting, as they've been here before and done it before, but it's a very different task this time round. They start with Alex Palmer in goal. A back 4 of Ben Johnson. Darrow Shea takes over captaincy with Sam Morsey's departure. Greaves and Davis alongside him in defence. In midfield is Taylor, Matsuiwa in midfield alongside Jack Clark and Chidozie Ogbene, with Sammy Schmonix and George Hurst, the 2 main attackers in this Ipswich side. On the bench for Kieran McKenna's team, Walton, Keepery, Wolfenden, Young, Humphreys, Barbrook, Broadhead, Chaplin and Al Hamady. Of course, no Hutchinson tonight, confirmed by Kieran McKenna. He is ill. It is a new championship season. 2 sides, as I said, have promotion hopes. Will they be in the Premier League next season? And will they be destined for a long term in the championship? We'll find out. Kick-off at St Andrews is next. A very good evening and welcome. It's great to have you all with us for this one tonight. We're ready to start off a new season here on LFS of league football, and it all starts tonight in the championship in that opening weekend bonanza that we have. A win and Billy Woodbout here on LFS. And we hope you can join us right the way throughout the season in what is going to be a very intriguing season with a very close championship we expect. We do apologise for any slight lag issues. We are in the process of trying to resolve that, but for the meantime, we do hope that you can bear with us for the moments. We do very much apologise about that. Thank you very much for joining us, as the ball has spent a lot of the first 55 seconds in the air. And the referee Andrew Kitchen's just going to give a free kick to Birmingham here. Of course, it's been very well documented of their ownership, and of course Tom Brady, not here tonight, but Tom Wagner, the chairman of Birmingham City, is here. It was a little bit awkward. Another bounce of ball in behind, and Kyogo's again trying to exploit that. Once again, it just about bounces its way back to Alex Palmer, but the referee's not a most popular figure so far. See this opportunity again, I believe. This is a little bit earlier, or actually the latest one on Kyogo. He's causing problems in that Ipswich defence. That there is no question about, as Birmingham are going to get a free kick here. Jack Clark deemed to have committed a foul on Asai Samuel. I do apologise for the little... Birmingham trying to keep the ball moving. The ball's chipped down the left-hand side. Nicely seen out, but it's a cheer from the home crowd as they get the throw and try and take it quickly, but That's well cut out on that occasion by Greaves. And ultimately goes out for another Birmingham throw. Well, they have started the better of the two teams, Birmingham. They've looked the more confident. They've looked the more aggressive with the ball. And that's a lovely cross. It was just over the head of the target aside. Samuel who got himself into the box there for Birmingham. They're really competing heavily well with Ipswich. They're doing well so far. Cochrane right to the left-hand side for Anderson. One thing about Chris Davis's side last season in League One, they had the best in terms of average possession, over 66.7%. The highest ranked in terms of possession in League One last year, so they know how to keep the ball and know how to move it well. They also had the highest passing accuracy of any League One side last season, so they certainly know how to move the ball and how to deal with it when they have it more often than the opponent. And so far they've dominated this early stages of this game. 10.5 minutes gone, and I have to say almost all of the play has been with Birmingham on the ball, and almost exclusively in the Ipswich half. 84% of the possession so far from Birmingham. A dream start for Chris Davis's side, who have come out flying, and at the minute Ipswich are just not able to stay with them and compete, as they will get a throw in here. Ipswich, it's probably seemingly at the minute the best that they're able to get out of the game. There's a couple of throw-ins. Johnson short with this throw-in, he gets the ball back and he tries to go for the switch ball to Leif Davis, but just like a lot of their minimal amount of possession so far, Ipswich, they struggle to keep it. It goes out for a Birmingham throw on the far side, which they've taken quickly. Sai Samuel. Here's Damari Gray. Using his footwork, Damari Gray with a cross. It's cleared away. It's still back into the box. Ipswich again struggling to get it away from danger. And that time they do with another header. But it is Birmingham knocking on the door. And Ipswich doing everything they can. Try and keep them at bay. If you had to really take a guess, and based on these first 12 minutes of this game, which of these two sides was in the Premier League last season, I don't think it was the side that Keir McKenna is managing, would be your guess. And this will be why Birmingham are one of the bookie favourites to be not only in the playoffs, but competing for automatic promotion to the Premier League. And that's good play by the referee to allow the advantage to be played for Birmingham there. Here's Asai Samuel. Tracked by Jack Clark on that right-hand side, and forces a mistake there, Clark, without actually touching the player, but ultimately, once again, Ipswich failed to make it work, with Schmodix and Hurst failing to link up. Here's Cochrane. To Pike. Back to Cochrane again. Pike. Back to Clara. Pike, nice work through the lines. Here finds Iwata, who was shoved to the ground there by Hurst. And that's going to be another free kick. And Smoky Iwata, the 20-year-old Japanese international. Scored 6 goals in League One last season in his 40 starts, or his 40 appearances. 6 goals and 1 assist, so can chip in if he needs to. If I'm not mistaken, he scored an incredible goal, I think maybe in an FA Cup game for Birmingham last season as well. A real tussle there in the midfield, and it is going to be Keshi Anderson that's going to come out the better of the two in that battle with Ben Johnson. Just seems like that aggression from Birmingham so far is just forcing Ipswich to make silly mistakes and kind of be more physical, and in the end giving away more fouls, although this time it's going to be Keshi Anderson that's going to have the foul against him, and Ben Johnson gets the free kick. Feels there was a little shove in the back. I mean, there's very little in that, if I'm honest. It's a little push. There is hands on the back of Ben Johnson, but it's not enough, in my opinion, to bring the full back down. Of course, new season. The referee also trying to get up to speed, along with everybody else. There's always going to be some early teething issues. Not something that won't be fledged out across the season. And as always the case with a new campaign, it always takes a little while to get up to speed. As Keshi Anderson, again, that battle continues with Ben Johnson. He felt he was fouled that time. The referee's just going to give a throw in. Only actually is going to get the foul, Keshi Anderson. And he just stood in on him, Ben Johnson, and there was no doubt that it was a foul from seeing the replay. Well, do get involved in the chat. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Night 1 of the championship up and running. Long ball again from Birmingham. It had been causing issues early doors, but on that occasion it's a little bit far from Allsop, the Birmingham keeper. The crowd are not happy with something here. They're booing. The referee wasn't happy with the way the goal kick was being taken, but it has been now taken by Ipswich, and down the line it goes. As that's an issue there off the ball. Chidozie Ogbeni was brought down, and he's going to get a free kick. There's been a lot of set pieces in the last few minutes. It's been very stop-start this game. The last couple of minutes in this one. Yeah, Ogbeni stepped away from Cochrane, and as he tried to turn to join the attack, as he laid the ball off there, Ogbeni, he was kind of pushed in the face by Alex Cochrane. And that's a foul that was already taken as the ball over the back. As Cochrane has a bit of defending to do, and he does so. It will be a corner, I believe, to Ipswich. Cochrane felt it was a throw, but the assistant disagrees. And it's going to be a corner to Ipswich. So despite the fact they've had very little of the ball so far, Kieran McKenna's side, they have the first corner of the game. And they can be dangerous from set pieces. Leif Davis is going to come over to this side, and he's going to take this corner. He's the man in the Ipswich red tonight that can make the difference, Leif Davis, from these set pieces. Let's see what his first one of the season has on offer. Left-footed delivery, deep to the back post. Headed away cleanly in there. And now they want to spring a counter, Birmingham, if they can keep the ball. Sai Samuel tussling and battling there with Greaves, and fair challenge, and they're kind of getting in each other's wake here. And the referee's not. He's just going to have keep an eye on this. Sammy Schmodix has got involved as well. A lot of early season tension, and Bredasai Samuel is the man who was at the centre of it. And now the referee, Andrew Kitchen, has a little bit to deal with. The emotions are high on opening night of the new season. Dara O'Shea, the Ipswich captain, was going to have a chat with the referee, but it's going to be Osai Samuel and Jack Taylor that are going to have a talking to from the referee. I think it's going to be a yellow card for each, I believe. Yeah, it will be. So the first yellow cards of the season are going to be handed out. Yeah, it was good aggression by both players, but then they kind of just got on each other's necessary. Really. It's just unnecessary from both players, if I'm honest. There you go, confirmation of both getting the first yellow cards of the season. Oh, as they might have an issue behind here. That's a fabulous challenge. Great recovery there. But I believe that was Newman. See this again in behind. It was a little flick by George Hurst, and it was Sammy Schmoniks making the run beyond. And it was a fabulous recovery by the Birmingham centre-back Phil Neumann. And it's going to be a throw-in to Ipswich, but that was a fabulous challenge because Sammy Schmoniks would have been one-on-one with Allsop. Long throw into the box. Still kept around about this far right-hand side, but just as Benny brings it down, there's going to be a foul given against Ipswich. And that's going to get Birmingham off the hook a little bit after that nervy moment that had just passed. Well, 20 minutes gone. It's been anything but boring, but it's been very aggressive in more ways than one. And the emotions and the tensions of a new season are well and truly upon us, and can certainly be felt between both sets of players so far. Here's Asai Samuel. Goes all the way back to Allsop. Has got options. Allsop just lays it out to Clara. Now Cochrane trying to find that ball towards Stansfield, but it was nicely intercepted by Ben Johnson. Although given away cheaply down this right hand side. And now here is Stansfield. He's got Kyogo in the middle. Stansfield wants to roll it in for Kyogo. Here's a chance! And the shot's just directed wide by Kyogo. The angle was against him, but that was nice play by Jay Stansfield. Really good work in between the lines, working the angle, leaving the space, opening the area for Kyogo to exploit. Did it really well, stepped across, created that real muddling in the Ipswich defence. They really couldn't get into shape, couldn't get into the right areas, and Greaves was kind of really in no man's land in a sense. Had to hope his keeper was in the right position, and in the end Kyogo's shot goes wide, but it was very good play by Birmingham there. Once they recovered the ball, they got forward quickly and almost created a very good chance. Here's Stansfield again, latching upon a loose ball. Cleared away by Greaves in the air. Chested down by Clark and battling with Schmoniks, and somehow he kept that ball. And now here's Leif Davis, and he plays it down the line for Clark. Tussling and battling, but losing out in that battle, Jack Clark. That's going to be a throw-in to Ipswich on that side, but both sides maybe just getting into a bit more rhythm as we come up to the halfway point of this first half here at St Andrews. Birmingham 0, Ipswich Town 0. Going to try this long throw-in. Our Ipswich here from this left-hand side. Bodies in and around the 6-yard box as the ball floated. Cleared away once again by Neumann. And lots of blue shirts in there to clear it away as Sai Samuel gets his foot to it. But recovered by Ipswich. Flick on there by Greaves, who stayed up. Lovely little touch by Sammy Schmoniks, who tries a cross. It was in the right area, but there was no one in red to meet it. And they can clear it away and scramble it away, Birmingham. You're under a little bit of pressure of their own at the moment. Ball given away loosely in midfield. Taylor. Schmoniks tried one from distance. Well charged down. And this is better from Ipswich. Worked out wide to Davis. Now Taylor tussling and losing out on that occasion to Damari Gray. And Birmingham back on the ball. And that was probably the best spell so far for Ipswich that last minute or so. More aggression, better possession, and more threat when on the ball. Once again, Birmingham were able to basically fight it off. Neumann back to Allsop, playing it out to Alex Cochrane on the left-hand side. Anderson will just lift it back towards Clara, who has the armband tonight for Birmingham. Oh, a little cheap giveaway by Allsop here. Schmoniks! It had the angle, it had the pace, it had the height, but it didn't have the accuracy, and it fizzes just wide. And The man who probably is the most relieved is in the Birmingham goal in Allsop. He just tried to roll it out to, I think it was Pike, in the midfield. He just undercooked it. Sammy Schmodek's unsighted. He steps in. He has the shot with his right foot. And it was always rising. It was always arrowing towards that far corner. And it just goes wide of the left post. Definite good attempt. Definite mistake not capitalised upon. And you are sure of that. Because that is a mistake that you do not want to happen from Ryan Allsop. And luckily for him, it wasn't punished by Ipswich Town. And it probably should have been, if we're 100% honest. Lovely ball over the top here from Birmingham again. They're trying that long ball and it's working again as Anderson brings it down. Now Peake goes out wide to Keshi Anderson. Steps onto his right, tries to cross. Didn't get past the Ipswich defenders that time. Back to Peake, who tried to lift the ball over for his compatriot there, Kyogo. Peake, who wins it back again. Stansfield tried it. Again, closed down in the edge of the Ipswich box. Again, there's a lot of ambition as well in this Birmingham side. We're certainly clearly seeing that. They're committed to every single little challenge. Every ball, loose or taken, they're always in and around it. I'm sure that's a mentality that Chris Davis will want to employ on his team all season. You know, of course, a fabulous campaign in League One last season, and if we're being honest, the expectations on Birmingham this season is not one that comes without pressure, and certainly doesn't come without any evidence that they're going to be capable of achieving something similar to last season, although 111 points is absolutely out of this world in terms of kind of extraordinary in the points tally. Finished an incredible 19 points clear of their next opponents in Wrexham on 92. 111 points is unbelievable stuff. To lose just 3 games in a 46 game season in a gruelling League One is something to be remarked. And Birmingham showing that ambition, showing that confidence that they most clearly had last season, already in the first 27 minutes of this season. Here's Keshi Anderson. Back to Clara, looking for options. Goes wide to Cochrane. Back to Clara again. Not afraid to keep the ball, Birmingham. Not afraid to not force the issue. And be patient. Here's their captain again. And that play to Cochrane again, but again there's no pass other than back to Clara. He goes across to Neumann. Tries that long ball. He's got a bit of space for Kyogo. The touch just caught him out. And it allowed a little glimpse for Dara O'Shea to get a touch to the ball and clear it out for a throw. That was once again a lovely ball to Kyogo, who is causing constant problems here. Damari Gray tussling with Jack Taylor, but he's got a hold of the ball. Gives it away cheaply to Clark, but the ball goes out of play. Off of Damari Gray, I believe. And it's going to be an Ipswich throw. A lot of movement from Birmingham, including that man Damari Gray returning to the club. The club where he started his career all those years ago. Where he continues it at 29. Probably in his peak years, came through in the unders here at Birmingham before he made that move to Leicester in January of 2016. Certainly a very promising player, and one that will undoubtedly help Birmingham in any chance of a promotion campaign this season. Damari Gray, amongst others. Of course, as I said, 4 new signings in the 11 of Birmingham tonight. As Alex Cochrane has a bit of defending to do there. on that occasion against Chidozie Ogbene. It's going to be a throw in here on this right hand side for Ipswich. Johnson. Throw towards the byline, but it's going to be a free kick given against them here. As Ogbene maybe had a stray leg, or actually it might have been from the throw-in from Ben Johnson that he might have overstepped the sideline. He did. Yeah. It was a little bit naive, that, from Ben Johnson, another experienced player who has a lot of Premier League experience, of course, with West Ham. Here's Leif Davis. And, of course, last season with Ipswich. No doubt about it. That's a lovely little turn there from Jack Clark. He's worked it into the box. He's trying to keep going. But he was well challenged by Asai Samuel, who did really well there. And evading more challenges as he tries to get Birmingham forward. And as he lays it off, there's going to be another foul. And Damari Gray, who was the one foul this time. Birmingham getting the ball moving quickly. Out to Keshi Anderson on the left-hand side. Looking up for options. Not many in blue in front of him. Has to work it back again to his centre-backs. Here's Neumann. Sai Samuel. Inside to Iwata. Iwata switching the ball to Keshi Anderson. A bit of space here. Anderson with a cross. Little deflection. Finds it to Peake, who lays it off to Iwata, who works it between the lines for Stansfield, who couldn't keep the shot down. That was fabulous interchange of play there from Birmingham. When one pass didn't work, when one shooting opportunity didn't show, they didn't give up. They moved it quickly. They kept it moving. They kept Ipswich guessing. And they kept finding players in space. And on that occasion, your man Jay Stansfield, the one you want in that position, he had his first real effort of the season. And that one he couldn't keep down. But a very positive moment for Birmingham once again. It was really the first time we'd actually seen Keshi Anderson in a bit of space down that left channel. It all came from the fact that the ball was on the right hand side and it switched, that switch ball, that crossfield pass, played so quickly, opened up the space as Ipswich had committed a cross, and the gap was there for Keshi Anderson to exploit. We see this again that the crowd are not happy with once more. Yeah, Jack Clark there went down, but there was no contact there from Sung-Ho Peake. And the referee got it wrong. Quite clearly there was no contact and given the foul. And now Ipswich into the box here with Clark, who crosses it, but just for a split second it looked like it might have been arrowing towards goal. But it had just gone wide. See this again. It's a switch ball out to that left channel. It's actually Leif Davis. And is he offside? He might have just strayed offside. Fabulous first touch. Takes it around the defender and then he tries to curl it towards goal with the outside of his left boot. Doesn't get anywhere near enough curl. Slices it and it goes well wide. But the idea was perfect there from Leif Davis. Just didn't end up in the right area. There's a nice run in behind from Kyogo. Is the flag going to stay down? It is for the moment. Here is Kyogo towards the box. He fires it across. No one there in blue to reach it. And it will bundle its way out for a throw on the far side. But that was a fabulously timed run by Kyogo. The flag stayed down. He was in his own half when the ball was played. That's why. The fabulous run. He just overhit the crossfield pass. Damari Gray was in there. And he fired it across with some pace, Kyogo. Just couldn't quite find his teammate. The number 10, Damari Gray there. There's a lot more threat, a lot more promise, and certainly a lot more positives in the first 34 minutes in this game for the home side than there is for the away team. That's what we got to say. But you know Ipswich, they've been here and done it before. Their experience at this level is what will probably stand them out this season, of course, with the immense quality that they have in all areas in the Championship. But it's all about bouncing back and getting momentum back after back-to-back promotions or relegation. Something they don't know about. Don't know, maybe, how to deal with. Here's Keshi Anderson. We'll see as the season progresses how they deal with that Ipswich. Here is Neumann. Clara to Cochrane. And down the line to Damari Gray, who him and Keshi Anderson had just swapped sides at the moment. Damari Gray on the left-hand side for now. So we're back with Clara. Peake in a very tough position with pressure on him, but he works it out to Cochrane. Now Damari Gray, lovely little reverse ball. Peake plays it well. Oh, just slightly evading Jay Stansfield, but again it was nice play. And again, better ideas from Birmingham. Just that ball from Tomoki Iwata there, just evading Jay Stansfield. A reminder for you, this is just one of a number of championship fixtures on the cards this weekend for you here on LFS. We have another one tomorrow lunchtime to bring you. Southampton, who were relegated from the Premier League last season, they host newly promoted Wrexham at St Mary's. That's tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff. And then also tomorrow, as the players are just going to get a drink here with a player down. Also tomorrow evening, we're at Bramall Lane as Sheffield United host Bristol City, two of the playoff semi-finalists last season. The two teams that played each other in the playoff semi-finals last season will meet once again at Bramall Lane tomorrow at 5:30. Right, it's Sammy Schmodix that's down receiving treatment, so the players off maybe getting some instructions from the respective managers and maybe a bit of hydration, with about 8.5 minutes of the first 45 to go of the new season, and there's no doubting the commitment, certainly of the home side. And Ipswich have been struggling to deal with that aggression that they've posed so far, but no damage done to either team defensively, as the scoreline remains goalless so far here at St Andrews on the opening night of the new championship season. Sammy Schmodix, by the way, is okay. He just was getting some probably precautionary checks, and he is on his feet. He's having a chat with Kieran McKenna, his head coach, and taking in some liquids before he rejoins the field of play in a moment, and we get back underway. And will be an Ipswich throw here on the right side. Up in the air it goes, and the bodies battling for it. Clara knocks it forward, and an awkward one for Leif Davis to deal with, and he doesn't. And he's got Damari Gray right on his shoulder, who wins it back. Tomoki Iwata works it back to Clara. Now Cochrane. Clara to Iwata. Now to the far right hand side, here it goes. With say Samuel, now back to Neumann. Finding its way to Cochrane. Anderson works it back to Alex Cochrane again. Just keeping the ball moving, Birmingham. Staying patient, as that's a long ball effort from Clara there. Tried that diagonal out to Damari Gray, who has swapped back with Keshi Anderson now to their respective areas of the field. And that ball out that way didn't quite find its target. It will be an Ipswich throw. Long throw by Leif Davis, intercepted well by Osai Samuel. Brought down by Iwata, who misplaced his pass in a very tight area, but again Ipswich give it away cheaply. Here's Keshi Anderson, wants to have a go. Took a little nick on the way through, but Palmer had it covered and was just calm in dealing with it. Yeah, it just took a little deflection from Keshi Anderson. Keshi Anderson's shot. Oh, they've won it back again here. Here's Stansfield. Wanted to rocket that one low and hard, but he completely missed the target. I don't know how that came about. We'll see it again. Ben Johnson played it forward. Schmodix knocked it back. It's a little loose pass, force pass really, in the midfield there from the new player at Ipswich, Marasua. He kind of forced it through the lines and gave it away cheaply. Once again, another mistake that wasn't punished so far in this first half. As we said, teething problems. There's going to be some little issues. The first game, maybe the first week or two, or three of the season, that will be ones that both managers will want to iron out as quickly as possible, but that's to be expected. Here's Keshi Anderson. Pick. And Clara just going back to Allsop. He fizzes one forward. Lovely little ball. Beautiful touch by Keshi Anderson, who goes for the early cross into the middle. And that was some challenge. I think the flag was up anyway against the two that were in there, but that was some challenge. I think that was Greaves that put his body on the line. He did. And that ball was cleared away, but that threat from that cross from Keshi Anderson was undoubtedly there. I believe it was Asai Samuel who got himself into the middle, and he was the main target. He was miles offside when the ball was hit by Anderson. Kyogo was also in the mix, but a fabulous challenge by Jacob Greaves, who didn't know the flag was going to go up, but he still committed himself as if it wasn't going to go up, which is exactly what they need, as that's going to be a foul given for Jack Clark, who went down again, or sorry, Hurst this time. It was fouled, and free kick to Ipswich around about the halfway line. Well, at half-time, don't forget, we'll talk about what Opta, the statisticians, those with that are crunching the numbers, crunching all the stats and the graphics and everything that they need to come up with their pre-season predictions on who's going to be likely battling relegation and who's going to be likely in the battle for promotion. We'll talk about that at half-time, plus we'll talk about how these two start their seasons, what they've got in the first month and a half of the new campaign. We'll talk about that at half-time. So far, just the one shot on target from Birmingham. None the way of Ipswich. 4 shots to 3 in the home side's favour. One thing they're certainly dominating so far, Birmingham, is the possession. 70% of the ball to Ipswich's 30. Stansfield charging on the press. Palmer having to scramble it away. And Ben Johnson getting in a bit of a tussle there with Keshi Anderson. And Johnson coming out the better of the two to win that throw-in. But the run from Jay Stansfield to try and close Palmer down there. Here's Jack Taylor. Good control on the ball. Ogbenny works it back into midfield. Madasuwa gives it away cheaply as he was challenged there. And now Keshi Anderson was bundled over. It's going to be a free kick. And it's going to be a yellow card for the Ipswich man, Azor Madasuwa. And that's going to be a yellow for him. And it's going to be the 3rd yellow card of the night. And it's not a bad one, you'd have to say, to take, because really that was a very, very dangerous situation that Ipswich had to deal with. And it would have been a very fruitful opportunity for Birmingham in an attacking sense if the challenge hadn't have come. And Madasuwa did commit that challenge. And now a free kick for Birmingham is on the way. As we get the aerial view of St Andrews. Damari Gray and Alex Cochrane are the two that are over this. As centre as it could be. And if we kind of figure out the distance, about 25-30 yards. It looks like Damari Gray's readying himself to take it a bit further than 30, a couple of 33 yards maybe. Damari Gray hits it! He got the curl on it, he got it over the wall, but he couldn't get it past Palmer. who caught quite comfortably. Placed himself perfectly there, Alex Palmer. And a free kick was comfortably gathered by the Ipswich keeper. Although given away again by Ipswich. A lot of cheap possession giveaways so far. Caoimhan works the ball well out wide to Asai Samuel, who works the ball into the box looking for his man there in Caoimhan. But again cleared away by Ipswich and doing well defensively there. Oh, Cochrane's back pass, a little bit short, but Allsop gets rid quickly as the 45 minutes are up, and we were going to have 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Two more minutes to round off the half of what has been a very competitive first half so far. Is there going to be a difference maker before the interval? Here's Leif Davis. Back to Greaves and all the way back to Palmer, who lays it off to his new captain, Dara O'Shea. Johnson goes long, trying to find Hurst over the top, who took a touch, wanted the handball there, the Birmingham players. What not given. Here's George Hurst on the right hand side. Works it back to Ogbene. Bodies in the box here if he can find them. Chitosi Ogbene trying to dribble his way towards the 18-yard box. Cuts it back for Johnson. Johnson's crossing the header. Is well wide by Jack Taylor. Nicely worked, but the Birmingham fans are still not happy. They felt there was a handball a little earlier on George Hurst, but not given. See that cross again. Good cross by Ben Johnson. The header was up. Just couldn't get it on target, Jack Taylor. It was a good opportunity. Well carved out, but lacking the accuracy there in the final third. Ipswich. Free kick, or a goal kick, sorry, to Birmingham that might just round off the half. And that it does. The end of the first half then of the new championship season, and a first half which has seen no goals, but it has seen certainly a lot of aggression and a lot of intention from both teams to try and change the scoreline. So far it's probably Birmingham that have been the better of the two sides, but Ipswich, who came under the cosh early, have held on in there and keep it goalless at the break. Half time, it's Birmingham 0, Ipswich 0. We're back for the second half and half time chat as well in a couple of minutes. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to AFL Championship Live here on LFS with me, Caoimhan Ferris. Thank you very much for joining us. Half time and not a goal between them. Birmingham 0, Ipswich 0 on our first game of the new championship season. Thank you very much everybody for joining us this evening. We're going to have a chat about what's to come for these two teams over the next few weeks in the first month and a half of the season, And also, we're going to have a chat on what Opta, of course, the very well-renowned stats provider, what they think of who's going where, who's going to be battling promotion, who's going to be battling relegation this season. We're going to have a chat about that in a moment. But quickly, if we recap that first half, a first half which started well for Birmingham, and really, really well. They come out with a lot of aggression, a lot of kind of just put themselves right on Ipswich. They didn't allow them breathing time. They said, right, we're going to come out, and we're going to come out all guns blazing in the first 10 minutes. And that they did. I think they had 84% of the ball at one point in the first 10 minutes, so they were really dominant in that early stage of the game. And yes, they may not have capitalised, but one thing they did was asserted dominance in the game. It kind of unsettled Ipswich. It left them with a lot of questions to answer, a lot of awkward moments, a lot of cheap giveaways, a lot of easy kind of fouls that were given. I think a lot of simple errors that were made in that first half from Ipswich, and I think they'll be disappointed in themselves with how they've dealt with kind of the pressure that was going to come from Birmingham. And we could expect that. Newly promoted side, opening night of the season, on their home turf, under the lights, against a side who were playing Premier League football last season. All of those things are going to add up and go, they're going to come out, and they're going to try and attack, and they're going to try and impose themselves, and they're going to try and prove themselves, really, to a side that will be disappointed with what happened to them last season in Ipswich, and of course being relegated. But I think Birmingham dealt with the pressure that could have been on them, that has been on them really, in the last week or so. Then when the build-up has been coming around, a lot of talk about them having a lot of expectation this season, and they could have crumbled in the first half. But what they did really well was they stood up to that challenge, and they certainly rocked Ipswich, you got to say, in that first half. But a lot still to do, and no damage done for either team yet in this first half. Neither side really ultimately damaged, but a lot of questions for Ipswich to answer if they are certainly going to get an opening night win. But of course, Birmingham have shown a lot. They've shown a lot of good work, and I think their combinations have been really impressive. I think that kind of, not a triangle because it's 4 players, but it's that area centrally in their attack. Forget about the wide players in Keshi Anderson and Damari Gray. That pick Iwata, Stansfield and Kyogo. That 4 in that area of the field centrally is what is the difference at the minute, because they are the ones that are creating the opportunities. They are the ones that are keeping Ipswich penned in, and also at the same time they are the ones that are keeping the pressure on the Ipswich midfield so that they cannot control this game. Fabulous play so far, I gotta say, from the Birmingham midfield, who have looked really, really impressive, and I think overall have looked impressive. But I think that midfield, that 4 in the middle, in the midfield and in the attack, have certainly been what's stood out to me in that first half so far at the moment. Right, we're going to talk about all the graphics that we told you we'd prepared, and all the stuff that we told you we're going to talk about in a moment. But let's get to the chat, because I did have an issue with my chat throughout the half. I apologise for that. So we are back. Thank you very much, everybody, for getting involved. I'll give a couple of shout-outs. Stephen M, Faze Danny. Never knew there was a Faze Danny. There you go. Links Football. That random Ipswich fan. Love that. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody, in the chat and getting involved. Great to have you all with us for this one. Let's have a look. Stephen says Ipswich need to reset for the second half. This is quite poor for their standards. J-Hook Jesus. Love that. I don't even like football, but I've got a good bet on the go here. Just need 3 certain players to get yellowed on Ipswich. It says stellar commentary as well. Thank you very much for the compliment. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for joining us. And those who even don't like football are here. Great to have you all with us. All one and the same. Thank you all for getting involved. What you can do, whether you like football or not, what you can do to help us out massively is to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications, because all of that is going to massively help us. It's going to help make the content better for you, and it's going to certainly help in creating a community that we certainly want to create here. And the Championship is going to be a very regular occurrence here on LFS across the season. We kind of struggle with it when the Premier League gets going, but we're going to try and give you as best an opportunity at getting as much Championship as possible this season. So do get involved and do show us what you like, and let us know what you like about the channel as well, and why you're here, how you got here, where you're from, all of that stuff. Do let us know in the chat as well, because it's great to get involved with you. Link says, who is going to win? And J-Hook says, Brum, I reckon. So some are predicting Birmingham are going to win. We'll do that poll in a moment for you. But let's have a look and see what the stats have had to say on who's going to win at the Championship this season, who's going to be promoted. Let's have a look. And here it is then. So this is what Opta have predicted. Of course, Opta, if you know already, are very well renowned for their stats and their gathering of stats. And this is the top 10 teams they've predicted in terms of their chances for being promoted. Sheffield United, according to Opta, are the favourites to be promoted this season. Of course, lost the Championship playoff final to Sunderland last year. They have a 41.1% chance, by far the highest percentage chance of being promoted, more than any other side. Leicester, of course, who were relegated from the Premier League last season, they have a 16% chance. Ipswich, 15.2%. Coventry in 4th. Of course, they lost out in the playoffs last year as well. Frank Lampard at the helm there, and a very impressive, I got to say, from Frank Lampard's Coventry last season, getting to the playoff semi-finals. Of course, knocked out by the eventual winner Sunderland in the semis, but they're pipped to be one of the favourites to go up. As are Southampton, as three of the top 5. In terms of this prediction so far, are all from Premier League sides that were relegated last season. West Brom in 6th there with 9.4%, as well as Middlesbrough, Millwall in the mix, Bristol City and Blackburn, all with a little chance at getting involved. Of course, those are probably sides that might be in a playoff battle as well. You never know. Although, as you can see there, Opta haven't put Birmingham in that mix, which is quite interesting. If we look to the relegation battle, who's at risk? Well, this is what Opta have predicted in terms of who they think's at risk. Oxford are their favourites alongside Watford. They're joint favourites to be relegated this season. Watford would be somewhat of a surprise based on where Watford have been in recent seasons, but they've been in a bit of limbo in the Championship over the last few campaigns. Watford, 21.7% chance. Wrexham, newly promoted side, they're a 20.2% chance alongside their fellow promotion team Charlton at 20.1% chance. Preston are in the mix there, as well are Stoke, Derby, Hull, QPR and Portsmouth, all according to Opta in the mix. Remember, there was 15 teams that could still be relegated going into the final few weeks of last season, so it was a very open relegation battle last season and a very open playoff battle as well. It was as open as can be in the Championship last season, and we're hoping for more of the same this season. Let's have a quick look at, of course, these two teams we're watching tonight, Birmingham and Ipswich, and how their season starts. So this is Birmingham, their first 6 Championship games, alongside their, of course, their League Cup start, their EFL Cup, Carabao Cup first round action as well. So tonight against Ipswich kicks off the new season for them at home. They are then involved in that Carabao Cup action against Sheffield United. Not an easy one to start off your League Cup campaign. That's on the 13th. That is on Wednesday night following the 13th of August. They're hosting Sheffield United. Then they head to Blackburn a week tomorrow. Then Oxford at home the week following, before they have a Friday night game away at Leicester on the 29th. That is going to be a big one that we're going to keep an eye on, I'm sure, in the coming weeks. And then Stoke away after the international break on the 13th of September, followed by a home game against Swansea on the 20th of September. Of course, dates are subject to change, of course, as you know. But looking at that round of fixtures, I mean, I think big games, if we take out the Sheffield United game because that's a League Cup fixture, in terms of their first 6 league games, there are worse opponents. I think Leicester City away is a deadly fixture and Ipswich at home, 2 very tough fixtures, but the other 4 are very winnable ones. I think Blackburn away at Ewood Park is a tough place to go, but they've 2 home games against Oxford and Swansea. They want to get good results in those, and then the away game at Stoke. That is that saying, if you can do it at a wet Wednesday night in Stoke, Where can't you do it? And certainly Stoke is a place they will be heading to at Birmingham in the first few weeks of the season. For Ipswich, their return to the Championship sees them start like this. So they have Birmingham away tonight, of course. Then they have an earlier League Cup action. They're away at Bromley in the League Cup on Tuesday night coming. Then they host the fellow relegation side Southampton next week. That's the 17th of August. Then they head to Preston, host Derby, home to Sheffield United is a tasty one, and then head to Blackburn Rovers on the 20th of September. So they've got some tough tasks as well. Sheffield United and Southampton, both home games, shall we say, in that one, and then away games where Preston and Blackburn amongst them in there as well. It's not an easy start for either side, but again, as both kind of certainly alluded to before the season started, no game in the Championship is easy, and so far that is the case from what we're seeing so far in this game, because with half-time here on the opening night of the new season, there is nothing to separate these two sides, Birmingham and Ipswich. Half-time, it's 0-0. We're back for the second half in just a minute or so. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to AVIL Championship Live here on opening night. Half-time, it's Birmingham 0, Ipswich 0. Don't forget tomorrow, though, more live action for you as we head to the South Coast. St Mary's is the destination for these two sides tomorrow. Lunchtime, 12:30 kickoff as Southampton, who were relegated from the Premier League last season, take on League One runners-up Wrexham. That's tomorrow lunchtime here on LFS. Right, we're ready to go for the second half between these two sides. It is goalless after the first 45 minutes of action here at St Andrews this evening. And so far, so good for Birmingham, in a sense. It's not been that way for Ipswich, who've maybe fallen below their standards maybe in that first half. There's one man who can change that. One man who has no doubting his experience. Ashley Young. And I wouldn't question his surname, but he's certainly not embodiment of it. But he is certainly still acts like it. 40 years old, Ashley Young, and he is still competing at the top level. He's on the bench tonight for Ipswich. If Kieran McKenna needs him, he's there if he wants to call upon him. As we are about to get ready for the second half then. And the referee, Andrew Kitchen, gets us going for the second 45 here at St Andrews. Goalless from the first half, and surely something has got to give in the seconds. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'd be greatly appreciated. I would thank each and every one of you who's joining us tonight. We're on the road to 30,000. We're not trying to go too high, but 29,000 is our next milestone, and then 30. If you can help us on the way, that would be fantastically appreciated. No, by the way, no changes at half-time. Both sides returning to the field with the 11s that left it 15 minutes prior. Leif Davis to take this throw in for Ipswich on the left-hand side. He's down the line, looking for George Hurst, but well closed out by Asai Samuel, who kept the ball in play and then was bundled over by Hurst. And the referee's just going to give a free kick there. Yeah, Asai Samuel worked ever so hard to keep the ball in play. He almost couldn't keep himself in play and then was bundled over by the Ipswich number 9, George Hurst, and getting a free kick. Wrestled to the ground there, Asai Samuel. Let's just say George Hurst was committed in trying to get the ball. It's brought down here by Cochrane. Plays a lovely ball to Keshi Anderson down the left-hand side. Birmingham approaching. Anderson's cross a little low. Cleared away in the middle there by the new signing. Madasiba. Long through there by Birmingham. Chested down by Kyogo. Got away from him as he tries to battle back. And then coming round the back is this shot there from Iwata. When it was well off target as he was off balance. That was another threat. Long throw. Kyogo got himself involved. The chest kind of messed up the Ipswich defence. I mean, they're all over the place there. And it bounces for an unsighted Iwata that was coming around the back. And he just kind of slipped as he tried to take the ball to Moki Iwata. And the shot went well wide. But that was a threat. That was an opportunity. And again, Ipswich were really at God's will there. They really had no control of that situation whatsoever. Here is Iwata. Damari Gray. Round the corner to Iwata. Goes back to Asai Samuel. Now Damari Gray again. Nice play by Birmingham. Damari Gray now inside to Iwata, who's on the edge of the box here. Goes with a curler. And the header in there was behind by Jacob Greaves, sorry. It was Alex Palmer that was committed to try and come at it, the goalkeeper. But it was Greaves that got the header. Cleared it away. Behind for the corner. Again, really nice combination between Gray, Asai Samuel and Iwata there. Around the right-hand flank. And the cross by Iwata was well defended and put behind for the first corner for Birmingham of the game. They're starting the second half as they did the first. The home side. First corner. What can Alex Cochrane provide? Will be an in-swinger, left-footed. It's deep. It's headed away. And it's falling! And the shot once again is wide. And this time it's from Peak, who was arriving late. Sungo Peak. See that again, the clearance header from Greaves just dropping in the edge of the box for Peak, whose shot was directed well wide on the volley. Again, very promising first 4 minutes of the second half for Birmingham. Long ball from Alex Palmer there, nicely brought down by Hurst. Ipswich trying to use their options as Leif Davis was given the ball wide, but couldn't keep it in play there. So again, they seem to try and carve something that they've worked on, Ipswich, and at the minute it just doesn't seem to be working. Just doesn't seem to be coming off for them at the minute. Mr. Wells says yes, season has started indeed. And we welcome you all in to join us here on this Friday night, day one of a brand new season. Said at the start, a clean slate for all of those sides that maybe had a poor season last season or didn't have their objectives fulfilled. It is a clean slate. It's a chance to get going again and achieve what they couldn't last time round. And for those that are new to the division, like the two that we're watching tonight, for different reasons, of course. One was relegated from the top flight, and the other was promoted from the third tier of English football, but certainly it's the team that came from League One and is the better of the two sides at the minute, rather than the one that came from the Premier League. Certainly saying that Birmingham have been the more promising, although that was a little mix-up between Alex Cochrane and his goalkeeper. And Ipswich will get a throw-in on the far right-hand side. Ben Johnson to take the throw. Goes short to Sammy Schmonix. Back to Johnson. He's got Keshi Anderson for blocking. He blocked it well there, Anderson, and they could clear it away, Birmingham. And the header there from Madasima was put out for a Birmingham throw. Hoping Wrexham just stay in the Championship this year, but if we're closer to the top of Christmas, why not Wrexham Prem? Well, that's what tomorrow's got in store for you. Wrexham head to Southampton. We'll have that live here at 12:30 tomorrow lunchtime, but you know, they've done it previously. National League to League 2, League 2 to League 1, League 1 to Championship in 3 successive seasons. I mean, but the 3 successive promotions, I mean, it's quite incredible what they've been able to achieve, Wrexham, and they've almost climbed the football pyramid. They're not quite there yet. We'll see how their season unveils. Asai Samuel with a cross here for Birmingham. Cleared away again by Greaves in the middle. Nice work from Cochrane, although the reverse ball didn't quite find a target. And now Madasima is trying to send Ipswich on the break as Jack Clark got in behind, but Asai Samuel got on the right side of his man. And that was nicely dealt with by Ryan Alsop there, given a bit of a hospital pass by his teammate there, but he was dealt with it well, and Asai Samuel's got a foul. Just have to seem to have that extra little bit of game intelligence at the minute, Birmingham. You know, it's not always about having the best players or having the better players on paper. Maybe sometimes it's just about grinding out the game, being more committed, being more aggressive, doing the basics better, and having that little bit of M quality. Here's Kyogo. Couldn't quite get a clean shot off, but he did get some sort of shot off, and it goes deflected out for a throw on the far left. Well, there's a man who, for those who grew up in the 90s and 2000s in the United Kingdom, will have known him very well. Jasper Carrott, of course, the former host of, what was it, Golden Balls? That game show, that Deception show. That was a fabulous game show. And he's a Birmingham fan as well, and he's in attendance tonight. I gotta say, that was not on my bingo card for tonight's game, that we were going to go to the crowd and see Jasper Carrott, of all people. But there you go. You never know what you're going to get. EFL is a wide spread of football fans across, up and down the United Kingdom. It's a loose giveaway there by Birmingham, but they've just got a foot in there with Peake, who did well to actually recover the ball. As I was saying about kind of doing the basics right and have that extra little bit of game intelligence, I think that's where Birmingham have actually succeeded tonight. Ipswich have fallen for the traps, fallen for the giving away cheap fouls, or kind of just not asserting themselves in the right areas. And I think Kieran McKenna will be frustrated with his side, because that's what they were so good at, Ipswich. That's what they were built upon, as being so good in so many different areas. But I think certainly Birmingham have had the better of it tonight. And here's Kyogo in behind. He's chipped the keeper. Oh, it's off the post. It's followed up and in by Jay Stansfield. Who else but their star man, Jay Stansfield, to open the scoring. And Birmingham break the deadlock. St Andrews erupts. Friday night lights. And they're lighting up in blue. Royal blue at that. Fabulous from Birmingham. Kyogo has been a threat all night for them up front. The Ipswich defence has struggled to deal with his little tricky footwork and his movement in behind. He chips the keeper, he hits the post, but he's got 2 men to try and follow it in. And one that was always going to find the back of the net was that man, Jay Stansfield. An absolute sensation last season. A star man, and getting them to this position in the Championship and achieving League One winner status. Well, he has just got them off to the perfect start in the new season in the Championship. And he's off the mark. Kyogo played a vital part in it, but it is Jay Stansfield's name that finds the score sheet, and it is his shot that finds the back of the net. Birmingham 1, Ipswich Town 0. And it's only what Birmingham deserve. Incredible. Fabulous from that man, Jay Stansfield. If you watched Birmingham last season, Even if you didn't, you knew his name. You knew his name. And you knew what he was capable of. 19 goals and 3 assists and 37 appearances in League One last season. A total of 24 goals for Birmingham in all competitions. Quite fabulous. And look at what he's achieved so far tonight. He's maybe gone under the radar a little bit. But my goodness me, he was there in the right moment to find the back of the net and to open the scoring in the new season, just like he knew how to last season. And maybe, just maybe, all those dark years for Birmingham are going to continue being diminished by the light that is going to be found at the end of this long, long tunnel. Asai Samuel here, a bit of defending to do against Leif Davis. He's almost on his own byline. And he finds his teammate in Norman, who clears it long. But once again, it all came about from Ipswich playing out from the back. But one thing was always certain. Kyogo, so far tonight, has been fabulous in that centre forward position. I said about that middle section of Birmingham, the two centre midfielders, the number 10 and the centre forward. Tomoki Iwata, Sung-Woo Paik, Jay Stansfield and Kyogo Furuhashi. Those 4 players integral in everything Birmingham have done well tonight. And now they have a bit of defending to do. Leif Davis across. Cleared away by Cochrane eventually there. Bit of pressure here from Ipswich to try and return the favour. But they don't quite find it on that occasion, and Greaves just will play it back across to Dara O'Shea. But those 4 in the middle for Birmingham have been integral. And they're again defending. And that's another very well-timed challenge by Claro there, the Birmingham captain. I'm sorry, I have to take on a bit of water. I got that excited about the goal, and I kind of got that passionate about commentating on the goal. I'm almost choked. I'm not a Birmingham fan, clearly. I mean, look what I'm wearing, but my goodness, what a well-deserved goal. When scoring first, last season in League One at home, they scored first in 17 games. They won 16 of those 17 games in League One last season at home when scoring first, drawing just once and remaining unbeaten in all of those games. If that trend continues, they're in for a very good season in the Championship. And on for a very good night tonight. That would be the case. Going to be a free kick there to Ipswich. We have a lot of work to do. Yeah, Kyogo just tried it a little bit late there on Greaves. That's why the foul was given, but that just goes to show the dominance and the passion and the confidence and the aggression and all of those things that have just embodied Birmingham's performance tonight. O'Shea. Johnson. Nice work there from Ogbenny, finding Madasiwa. A nice Smodics wide here. Smodics with a cross, blocked on the near side. There's going to be a free kick given against Birmingham here, as there's a player down on that far side in red, and I believe it's Sammy Smodics. Chidozie Ogbenny's getting himself involved with a few players there who he's not happy with. I think it's Alex Cochrane, I think he's not happy with, and Cochrane's being called over for the challenge, I believe. But again, another one of those little outbursts from the players. The passion very evident. Mackenzie says, "Come on, you Blues." Mr. Wells says, Jasper Carrot. Lol, I remember him. Yeah, I have. It's one of those people that you don't remember until you see them. They never come into your head, but once you see them, you go, oh yeah. But I can certainly tell you I've not thought of Jasper Carrot in years until I seen him about 10-15 minutes ago. It is going to be a free kick to Ipswich. Ben Johnson on the right-hand side is over this one. Ipswich have a bit of a rescue job on their hands now. 1-0 down with less than 30 minutes to go. There's more than enough time and more than enough quality in that team, but are they able to get it done? Johnson, right-footed delivery into the box. Header up in the air and behind for a corner. Off the head of Iwata, I believe, there that got that header. And the referee, I think, was Dara O'Shea and Alex Cochrane there colliding, and then there was a player that went down. I think that would have been Newman that went down, but it was Alex Cochrane that pushed Dara O'Shea into Newman that caused all that kerfuffle. But nothing doing, just a corner to Ipswich now. Got to say, the referee's had a tough game to deal with tonight. A lot of passion out there, a lot of physicality in both sets of players. So corner, Leif Davis, right-hand side here for Ipswich. 4 in red in the 6-yard box. The ball flicked on, and the header from Dara O'Shea is over the bar. Clare, top 1 centre-back in the league. Well, let's see how he does this season. The Birmingham captain, Christoph Clare, a 25-year-old Austrian. Joined Birmingham last year from Darmstadt last summer. He had 43 appearances in League One last year, so played almost all of their games. 1 goal, 3 assists for them, a total of 53 appearances. So one thing about Christoph Clare, he is reliable, and he is a constant in the Birmingham side over the last year or so. Maybe that's why, or certainly one of the reasons why he's been given the captain's armband. Well, I've just looked at a stat here. Since Birmingham scored around about 7-8 minutes ago, 90% of the possession has been of Ipswich. So there's been a fight back, there's been a response so far from Ipswich, but Birmingham have the ball here at the minute. As it's back with Newman. It goes back to Allsop, who's being pressured by Clark, but he gets it off to Clara. Now Cochrane. Down the line it goes to Anderson. Kept the ball in play, and then was fouled. Free kick to Birmingham. Callum says, I've put £500 bet on 1-1. You've put £500 on it. What will it win you? What will your possible earnings be if you win? I'm sure that would be quite a lot. £500 bet? Jesus, you don't have certainly have a lot of chump change. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. Could we get those likes up? That would be greatly appreciated. If you're enjoying the stream, that would be massively appreciated, and let us know. And thank you very much, everybody, for being with us tonight for this one. 25 minutes to go of the game. Birmingham 1, Ipswich 0. And there is the Birmingham chairman, Tom Wagner, watching on the edge of his seat. Said before the game, he can never sleep before games. He's always nervous. And I'm sure with something to hold on to here, I'm sure those nerves have skyrocketed even more than they were before. Them having this narrow lead heading into the final quarter of this game or so. Johnson to take this throw in for Ipswich. Calls a handball there on Dara O'Shea. The referee sees no issue. Certainly the Birmingham fans in that corner were certain it was a handball, but Officials don't. Johnson. O'Shea. Looking for options, but not much of a way through at the minute. They work it down the right side and have to force it back, and trying to work it between the lines there, Ipswich. That was nice passing. Back to O'Shea it comes, though. Nice work from Smodics to drop a little deeper. Now Ogbene. Inside to Madasiwa, who was pressured. They've just about kept the ball well, Ipswich there. Madasiwa. Now Jack Clark. A little bit of room, chops on the inside. Clark lays it out wide to Leif Davis. Davis works it back inside this time, now to Taylor. Taylor on the edge of the box. Has to go back out to Leif Davis, who feeds it back into space for Jack Clark. But he was well challenged, well stopped by Osai Samuel. But he's won it back again, Clark. And he's going to win a goal. We thought he'd won a corner, but it's going to be a goal kick. Last touch off Clark. Well, the endeavour there from Jack Clark. When he thought he'd lost the ball to Osai Samuel, he never gave up on it. Osai Samuel was bundled to the ground, no foul. Clark won it back, and then was seen at a play by Newman, who did well to win the goal kick. Yeah, it was good work. Changes of foot then. Triple change coming here for Birmingham. Or for Ipswich, sorry. Well, one of those three that are coming on for Ipswich is getting a rousing boo. And I can think of why. Chidozie Ogbene, Sammy Schmodics and Ben Johnson have all been replaced by Nathan Broadhead, Ashley Young and Connor Chaplin. And Ashley Young, of course, as you would know if you know anything about English football, has played for a team that Birmingham fans don't quite like. And that is, of course, the team across the city in Aston Villa. So he is one who's not in their good books. And certainly wouldn't be in their good books. Ashley Young. In this side. Kyogo there. Toss. So a free kick here. Cochrane. Left-footed delivery. Oh, almost went direct there. And it sails over for a free kick. Or for a goal kick, sorry. Battling there with Broadhead, winning the throw-in down this left-hand side. I do apologise once again for the issues. As I said, early season teething problems, as you probably could expect with us. I do apologise. Nice ball in behind here. One for Damari Gray to chase. He's cut it back. But it's dealt with well in there by the defence of Ipswich. And then Kyogo trying to battle back for the ball. Loses out and committed a foul there. Which he doesn't technically agree with, but the foul was the correct decision. I do apologise. I sincerely apologise. It's as best as I can do. I really do apologise for the issues that we've been having tonight. We've been trying our best to keep you right up to date, with keep everything on the tracks, but it's been really difficult. I do apologise. Thank you all for staying with us, though. during this. Whoever has stayed with us, thank you all so much. It's been really tough, but we're sorting it out. We're sorting it out. As I said, opening night teething problems. It happens, but at the moment you've not missed any of the action because we've stayed at 1-0 and we've about 6 minutes or so to go. Hopefully we should be able to carry ourselves to the finish line, and we will fully investigate this. We'll see whatever has happened tonight, why it's happened, and we'll try and fix it as best as we can for tomorrow, of course. And we hope you can join us. I do apologise profusely. Thank you all for staying with us. We do apologise for the disruption. We thank you all for staying with us. But as I said, I run this channel. I commentate on this channel. I run the channel. You're basing it off network and broadband connections, and it's not a professional job. As Ipswich in the middle, George Hurst's header well over the bar. It's not a professional job, but I try and keep it as professional as possible. But I thank you so much, everybody who stayed with us tonight, because it's been frustrating at times with the internet connections, but it's been tough and annoying. But thank you all for staying with us and for this one. And you're here for the football, so let's bring you to the end of this game then. And George Hurst got the header there for Ipswich that was over the bar. But so far it's, again, similar from the first half. Just a lack of everything all round from Ipswich. It's not one thing that's let them down today. It's a combination of everything. 27,500 people inside St Andrews tonight in witness to what they've seen so far. Has been a very, very good opening night game. They still have a lot more to come. And there's a lot more to come here on LFS this weekend. Don't forget, tomorrow we're at St Mary's at lunchtime as Southampton, who were relegated from the Premier League last season, take on another one of those League One promotion teams, and Wrexham, one of the most well-known worldwide, certainly, football clubs in the EFL, and they take on Southampton tomorrow, 12:30 here on LFS. As Ashley Young was dispossessed there by Keshi Anderson, which gets a wry cheer from the crowd. Why am I not surprised by that? Jacob Greaves through the lines here to Broadhead, working it through the lines. Ipswich, can they steal a goal here? Ashley Young in the mix. Can't really find a teammate. They keep it alive though. Young. Taylor with a cross. It's deep, it's high, and it's too deep and it's too high. Goal kick. Yeah. I gotta say, as it was said about Ipswich, it's just been a combination of everything that's just been lacking tonight. I think Birmingham have outplayed them in every single area, defensively, in midfield, in their attack, but even to the most basics of football: intensity, aggression, will to fight for every challenge, the quality on the ball, the quality off the ball. I think all of that combined, there's been little bits off every single one of those categories from Ipswich tonight. And if you drop your level, they know it. Kieran McKenna knows it. They've been in this division the season before last. They know what it takes to be competitive. They know what it takes to be at the top of this division and be one of the best in the division. And they will know that being a little bit off it in all of those little categories, maybe not being the first to every ball, or not being as aggressive as what you can be, or not being as accurate your passing as you can be, you don't get away with it. And you can be punished, and you will be punished against very good sides who even on your best day can still beat you. That's what the Championship is, and so far tonight Birmingham have embodied that immensely. That quality they need to show, that intensity they need to show, and maybe overall it's just been a better performance from them tonight. And by the way, there's been a lot of changes. Keshi Anderson's just coming off now as well for Ipswich. Al-Hamidi has come on for Ipswich, as has Caoimhan Ferris. They've replaced Jack Clark and Azor Matasiwa. Also changes for Birmingham. Lyndon Dykes has come on for the goal scorer Jay Stansfield. Ethan Laird has come on for Damari Gray, and Taylor Gardner-Hickman has just come on for Keshi Anderson. So changes afoot for both sides in the last 15 minutes or so. As going down there was Clara. He was holding his head, but he's going to be helped back to his feet by his centre-back partner there, Newman. A free kick to Birmingham. As he was just kind of brought down there by George Hurst, kind of elbowed out of the way by Hurst. So we're about to find out how long will be added on at the end of the 90 here. Another 8 minutes of additional time. 8 minutes. That's incredible. 8 additional minutes then at the end of the 90. A lot of time for Ipswich to make up for what they failed to achieve in the last 90 minutes. Can they snatch a late equalizer? Can Birmingham get a fabulous opening night win? I see Young trying to combine down that right side, but beaten off the ball. And the referee said no foul as the ball's flicked in behind here for Dykes to chase. But well stopped, and Alex Palmer rolls it out to Connor Chaplin. Behind Greaves. Now Caoimhan Ferris. Trying to go for the early cross. Humphreys into the box it goes. Away from Newman. One back again by Ipswich as they try and keep the pressure on Birmingham here for the final few minutes. Greaves. Through the lines. Nice little turn on the ball there from Broadhead. He's got nowhere really to go as he was surrounded by blue shirts, but the ball's fallen nicely here for Humphreys. On the left side. Is it to Greaves? Now Caoimhan Ferris again, wide left. Goes central. Finding Darrow O'Shea, the captain for Ipswich. Out wide to the right side for Ashley Young. Trying to get towards the box. Nice little ball to Al-Hamadi. And now the cut back and the old ball into the box is dealt with by Asai Samuel. But it's put behind for the corner. If you look at the stats, the possession's evened out. But one thing that has been really poor from Ipswich is they haven't had a shot on target tonight. Birmingham have had 3 out of their 11 shots. Ipswich have had 6 shots, but none of those shots have been on target. That's where the problems have arose for Ipswich Town tonight, amongst many other issues that they've had. Ashley Young to take the corner. Right-footed, deep to the back post. Headed back across goal, and it's going to be a free kick. And it's going to be given. Oh, he's given a penalty. He's given a penalty, the referee. That's come out of nowhere. The corner came in, it was headed back down. And I don't know where Andrew Kitchen's seen a handball. I'll have to see a replay. But he is certain it was handball. Birmingham are complaining. Ipswich are looking a bit coy. See this again. Yeah. It's quite clear. I mean, his arm's up in the air. His arm's on the way down. Yeah, but it's away from his body, his arm. I think the referee's seen a handball, and I've seen one too. And this is going to be harsh. But it is handball by the letter of the law, unfortunately. And for Ipswich, it is very fortunately. They haven't had a shot on target tonight. It's George Hurst to have the first, probably could get the first shot on target tonight from the penalty spot in the 94th minute. Can Ipswich rescue something here on opening night? It's George Hurst over it. He's against Ryan Alsop. Can he make the stop? It's Hurst. Scores! And Ipswich are back level. They haven't had a shot on target all night until the penalty. And George Hurst made sure that one was going on target. And he rolled it down the opposite side of the keeper, Ryan Alsop. And there's a bit of a scuffle going on now in one corner after the goal was scored. A 95th minute penalty from George Hurst might have just saved opening night for Ipswich Town, and it's really kicked off here. The benches have had to get involved. It is really erupted. I don't know what has happened. I don't even think the referee would have a chance at knowing what has happened, but my goodness, tensions are high. And George Hurst could be the Ipswich hero on opening night. There's still 3 minutes for the scoreline to change, but referee, well, there's still an issue. Ryan Alsop and Ashley Young are the two that are still at the brunt of this. And Alsop walks away, and Ashley Young, at the right old age of 40, is still not giving up the fight as he does now retreat. And we get ready for kickoff. That could be the moment for Ipswich. Game 1 of the season. They might just need one moment like that. Birmingham, I gotta say, have been the better side tonight, but handball was given, whether they agreed with it or not. The referee pointed to the spot, and the ball found the back of the net from George Hurst. As I said, the first shot on target from Ipswich tonight. Oh my goodness me! What's happened there? The kickoff came, the ball came back to Ryan Alsop, and George Hurst is sandwiched between two Birmingham players on the ground. I mean, right from the kickoff there, it's completely erupted again. Alsop's got the ball, he's going to get the free kick, but George Hurst is, I think, threw himself at someone there. He's given away the free kick. And he wanted to win the ball, I know, but my goodness. We see the penalty again. Yeah, Alsop dives to his right. We see this again. Yeah, Hurst. And then there's stuff being thrown. Clara, I think, is reacting to something that happened. And then there's a fan from the crowd that got involved as well. Well, that's not what you want to see. That's not what you want to see whatsoever. That's, I believe, from what we saw, Connor Chaplin threw something back into the stand that was thrown onto the field, and that riled up Clara, that riled up every Birmingham player, and that caused the scuffle. But of course, whether or not Connor Chaplin threw something shouldn't have been thrown in the first place, and that's not what we like to see. Certainly don't like to see fans trying to start fights with players. That's a no-go. Free kick to Ipswich here as Broadhead was brought down by Laird. Free kick to Ipswich. They're all over this now, Ipswich. I think Birmingham have kind of imploded. And a wry smile. Certainly not one of genuine smile from Chris Davis, whose team are seeming to implode at the minute. 8 minutes are up, but remember, we had the penalty, we've had a couple of stoppages, we've had that real drama of the scuffle as well, so there may be more than 8 minutes as Davis's delivery is a little high. It's worked its way back out wide to Taylor. He's going to get the throw, but wanted a foul. He threw himself to the ground there. Says the assistant, just a throw into Ipswich. Well, I got to say, 27,500 inside this stadium tonight. The vast majority of them of blue persuasion. And I got to say, I wouldn't want to be up against them. Because they have been truly riled up by what has happened late here. Leif Davis to take the throw. Long into the box. Headed behind by Clarer for a corner. 100th minute. Birmingham 1, Ipswich 1. How long is there left? Is there one more chance here? With Birmingham having to defend a corner. Leif Davis, nail-biting moment for those fans. Davis, left-footed delivery, it's deep. It's round the back. Header up in the air. It's still not away as there's going to be a foul given against Ipswich there. And that's going to be a free kick to the home side. Is this going to be the last kick, or will they have a chance? So you see the goal again, the penalty. Yeah, George Hurst was calm and composed. Knew the keeper was going to move. And he just slotted it in the opposite direction. Calmly composed. Calmly taken by Hurst. And then we see the handball. Yeah, Lyndon Dykes' hand was in the air. It was coming down. He was in an aerial tussle, but his arm was in the air, and it's probably a little bit harsh, but the decision was given. That's the referee's decision. We're well over 100 minutes. We're still going here. How long is there left? There is no more time. The final whistle goes. Almost 101 minutes of action at St Andrews tonight on opening night, and just as it seemed that it was the newly promoted side that was going to find one up against Ipswich Town here at St Andrews tonight, when Jay Stansfield got the goal, it was in the end George Hurst that had the final call. He scored a goal from the penalty spot that rescues a point on opening night for Ipswich Town, but a very good point from Birmingham's point of view, really. They could have had 3, but in the end, against a very good Ipswich side who they will probably be competing for promotion with all season, it is both sides coming away with something. A point apiece. The spoils are shared on opening night at St Andrews. It is finished. Birmingham City 1, Ipswich Town 1. And there you go. That is opening night for you. Full of passion, full of drama, full of excitement, and a goal apiece from either side. One, a penalty for Ipswich. I believe their only shot on target of the night. And for Birmingham, they were the better side. They were the side that were showing the better of it in all areas. But a late penalty conceded was the undoing of them. But that man, Kyogo, along with the goal scorer Jay Stansfield, were integral in Birmingham's performance tonight, amongst a number of other players in terms of Peake, Iwata, Kishi Anderson, amongst a lot of them. They performed incredibly well, the newly promoted side, but it is a point apiece on opening night. Let's have a look at what's still to come across the weekends. Lots of action for you tomorrow. 10 games in the Championship tomorrow, including 3 lunchtime games. Charlton, newly promoted side, take on Watford. They're at the Valley. I couldn't remember the name of that stadium there. Coventry host Hull. Wrexham head to Southampton as our feature game at 12:30. Then the 3 o'clockers, Middlesbrough host Swansea. Millwall head to Norwich. Oxford play Portsmouth. QPR face Preston. Derby head to Stoke. West Brom face Blackburn are all the 3 o'clockers. And then Sheffield United back after their playoff defeat in the final last season. They host Bristol City, a side they beat in the playoff semi-finals last season. They face each other 5:30 tomorrow. And then on Sunday, the only game on Sunday, Leicester hosting Sheffield Wednesday. Right, a reminder for you, that game between Southampton and Wrexham kicks off our Saturday action of the Championship tomorrow. But for tonight, opening night, and it has been one to remember. A fabulous night in the end, and a point apiece. Birmingham thought they were going to get all 3 points. In the end, it was a point after Ipswich's late penalty rescued a draw. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Night night.